Hey guys, welcome back to It's Pretty Simple. I'm your host Nikita Kohli, and on today's episode of It's Pretty Simple, I'm going to be going over an experience that I recently had. It was a very unique experience, and it was something absolutely new to me, and I really just wanted to share it with you guys. And maybe if you're thinking of doing something like this, you can get some inspiration or also get some tips and things from this episode if you ever plan to do what I'm going to be talking about. So 4 days after my half marathon, I jumped on a train and went to Lugo in the north of Spain to start something completely different. Walking the last 100 kilometers of the Camino de Santiago. So quick context, what is the Camino de Santiago? It's an old pilgrimage across Spain where you basically walk, and it can start in Portugal, it can start in France. There's many different starting points and there's many different routes, and all the routes end in Santiago in the north of Spain. So we did the last 100 kilometers. You carry a little passport that you get, and you get them stamped in cafes, churches, hostels, basically every place along the route, whichever route that you do, will give you a stamp. So you need to walk at least 100 kilometers, and you can collect your certificate in Santiago after they go through your stamps and make sure that you've collected at least 2 to 3 stamps per day. So this way people can't really cheat and you've actually done the walk. So this has been going on for centuries. People do it for religious reasons, obviously, because it is a pilgrimage. Other people just do it for spirituality. Other people do it for the sake of adventure. Now you can actually walk it or bike it. So the walking minimum to get the certificate is 100, and cycling, the minimum is 200. So why did I go? I am not a Catholic, I'm not a Christian, but why did I go on this pilgrimage? As I said, you can go for spiritual and adventure reasons as well, but I did have a little bit of a reason why I really wanted to do this, and I felt that it was the right time. So this summer, even though I've had a pretty good year, I've achieved quite a lot, I just keep feeling stagnant. Like that what's next question keeps coming into my head. Well, it was coming in my head, and I wanted space to just kind of figure things out. And outside looking in, I'm doing a lot, but when I sit with myself, I feel like I'm not, I guess because I have plenty of time, and sometimes I can't fill it up with too many things, and I don't want to constantly be doing something. And I don't know, it's this weird place that I think being in this hustle grind culture for so long, sometimes my mind still takes me back there, like I should be there, but I moved to Spain obviously to slow down. But that's kind of embedded. It's like a conditioning that I have from so many years of just grinding. Anyway, so that was one of my reasons. I said I wanted to kind of figure out, maybe just shut off from everything and just walk, think, and figure out what happens when I slow down, and if I have any magical aha moments, this is what I should be doing next. So anyway, coming to the Camino. So life on the Camino was very, very stripped back. Like, it was awesome. It was so basic. You wake up, you eat, you walk, you rest, you eat, you sleep, you repeat. And that rhythm did something to me. It was like fewer decisions, no constant to-do list, no phone buzzing, because I kept my phone on Do Not Disturb the entire time. Obviously, I took a few days off. And I started noticing all the little things around me, like footsteps on the gravel, the crunching of the leaves. There was a point where we're in this forest, and wow, the smell of the forest. I do put myself out in nature a lot, but this was like days of just being in it, and you start to, all your senses tend to heighten. It's like being on a drug or something, and it was really, really nice to just be present, to feel everything, to smell everything, to hear everything, just being there. On the trip, we stayed in albergues, which are basically big pilgrim shared hostels, big or small. And on the route, unless it's a big city, there's no hotels, so the only option is to stay in these albergues. And some days we did grab private rooms, to sleep a little bit better. The hostels normally are not in my comfort zone anymore. I did hostels in my 20s, and honestly, I just don't want to do that anymore, because I prefer a good night's sleep. But we did that a couple of times. There were bunk beds, all ages, everyone in one room. But it made me realize that is the Camino. It's not like you go into a city like Madrid and stay in a hostel where, you got these 20-year-old, 18-year-olds getting wasted and coming in. The purpose there is different. Everyone there is a pilgrim. It's different. Their reasons are different. What their background is, where they come from, whether they are rich, whether they are poor, what they do for a living. Like, nothing matters. Everyone is sharing the space. And that was a really unique experience for me, because I really was like, oh, I don't want to do hostels, but it was different, and it was an experience of like unifying people from all different parts of the world. It made me adapt. It was good having a mix of both, you know. I was comfortable in both the hostel setup with many people in one room, and I was obviously a little bit more comfortable in the private room because we also had our private bathroom. It's part of the experience, and yes, while you do have the private room option, I definitely suggest that do a couple of nights in the shared hostel rooms just for the sake of the experience and meeting people. So my experience with the walking, we had days where we did 20 kilometers, another day we did 30 kilometers. That was hard. That was very, very hard. We had 15 days as well, but overall we were averaging about 22 kilometers per day. And I realized somewhere in the quiet, in this hours of walking with a 10-kilo backpack on my back, that I'm too serious in life. I realized that I'm not playful anymore. I'm always doing things. I'm always trying to achieve something. I feel like I lost my sense of child, my sense of playfulness, and somehow walking through this forest, I think it was like on day 2 or day 3, I just felt like this inner child come out, you know, because I was not distracted. I was in the moment, just walking, singing childhood songs. And funny thing is, the marathon that I ran, I had a playlist, and I listened to that playlist for an entire year. This was only 4 days after the marathon, and not for the life of me could I remember a single lyric to any of the songs that I was running to. And the only thing that was coming to my head were childhood songs from Cartoon Network, Disney, like the most random things ever. And yeah, I felt playful, you know, picking up sticks, throwing rocks, picking flowers, smelling everything, just being out in nature without a phone, no distraction. Like, it just felt like a reset. And I didn't realize how badly I needed something like that. I just thought, okay, I'm going to go on this and then see. But I don't think that the Camino necessarily means you're going to find some profound thoughts or figure out your life or solve your problems. In this moment, it gave me something I didn't know that I craved: silence, peace, and just not to do anything, and not to have an agenda, not to have a to-do list, and just be, you know, just it. The only mission I had was to just wake up and walk, and that was really nice. Another really cool thing on the Camino, especially once we kind of connected with all the different routes in this town called Meleda. Once we were going out to the next point, there were so many more people, and we're walking through the forest, and there's volunteers or just other people, I guess, who did the Camino or people who live there. They have these little stands in the forest where they give you a stamp. Some of them are like making handmade things that they're selling as well, but it's pretty cool because you can also get these stamps from these people, and they're motivating you to move and find unique things. I actually got a really cute bracelet from one of the guys with his donkey, which was interesting. But it was nice. Like, everywhere we're walking, it was like a different experience, and I think I really enjoyed once everything connected because there were a lot more people. It felt less lonely. I did go with a friend, but I remember the day we had 30 kilometers. It was it was just so long, and I think we were the last people to leave the albergue, and it was one route only, so we hadn't connected yet, and it was just the two of us just walking and walking and walking. I couldn't see another human being for so many kilometers in front of us, and on that day I really needed to have that company, and I did, which I'm grateful for. But it would have been cool to have a lot more people walking around because time does go faster that way. And on this note, not everything was light and breezy and fluffy. There were lots of pains and aches. I got some almost blisters. My friend got a couple of blisters. Very, very sore shoulders from the backpack. So yeah, there were these long stretches where these kilometers just felt endless. And there'd be a point where you're just like, I just need this to be over now. I just need to take my shoes off. This needs to stop. While the day started really good, and I think it was always the last 5 to 6 kilometers that were just absolutely miserable. But then getting to destination was great. And then there were the nights at the hostels. I don't think I slept one good night there, even with the private rooms, because the albergues are like, I mean, in Spain the walls are so thin, so the albergues have different people from everywhere, and they all leave at different timings, and so sleep was pretty much broken, so there was not that much recovery. And some days we had rain, which was not very enjoyable at all. Walking for hours in rain is not fun, but you know, it's part of it. I think we chose a good time to go though, because we only had one rainy day, and then one day it rained as soon as we arrived in the location, which was great because it was pouring. But we got good weather, so definitely I would suggest September to go, because it's cooler up north anyway. I think even in August it's a bit cooler on up north. But when the sun shines, it really shines, and it can get quite hot. So yeah, September would be a good month. So like I said, I had this backpack on my bag, and it was 10 kilos, and one of the things that I noticed was, like, day one, the backpack felt so heavy. I felt every single gram in it, and my back was killing me. And then after day two, day three, day four, it kind of just became part of me, like to a point where I couldn't feel it anymore. On the last day, I remember doing a bit of trail running, so I had the backpack and I was just running, and it really didn't bother me because it was like on me, part of me, just part of my body at this point. And on the last day, when we took it off finally and we went out walking around to see Santiago, it was this really nice feeling of this lightness, but still something missing. Like a part of me is missing. Like, and you just can't, and there's like something is missing. And that's what it felt like. We're like walking around and I'm like, this is nice. Like everything's light, but something feels off because you just get so used to having that backpack. Yes, we would take it off at night, but we wouldn't really be walking around. We'd just go to bed, And it really made me think that it mirrors so many things in life. Like we carry so much weight on us with things, to-do lists, pressure, feelings, not letting go of things, to a point where these things just become part of who we are. And we don't realize how light we're going to feel when we finally just let it go and drop it all. And it comes back to, this hustle grind culture and this need of feeling the need to always be doing something. Like, it's like this weight on my back that if I'm not doing anything, like I'm failing. But that's not true, right? You just gotta let it go. And so it's definitely taught me that. And I'm a lot more chill about things now that I'm back. It definitely made me see it that way. It's just unnecessary things that we tend to carry. So while I didn't come home with a nice answer to tell me what's next, I came home with permission. I think I've come back with permission to slow down without any guilt, permission to let discomfort be part of the process instead of just stopping, permission to keep my playful, childlike self still present and let her out every now and again. That life doesn't need to be so serious. And that question that I had of what's next, honestly, I don't have to chase the next big thing. I think I'm already doing a lot of big things. In a couple of days, I'm heading off on a cycling trip for 750 kilometers. And you see how this culture of needing to do things and achieving things all the time is embedded, that I feel like I'm not doing things. Like, I did the half marathon. 4 days later, I went on the Camino. And now, in a week, I'm off to ride 750 kilometers. How can I be saying, I wonder what the next big thing is? There's so many things constantly happening. I think that these achievements, I call them achievements because yes, they are. I feel like I do these things so regularly that they just seem so normal. But when I say it out loud or speak to somebody who has a completely different lifestyle than me, they're in complete awe and they're inspired. And for a second, I'm like, but why? And then I think, no, these are big things. People don't just get up and go do these things. So what next big thing are you looking for? I just bought an apartment this year. I did the entire interior. I've done all the renovations and everything, and that's not that long ago. And then I've got all these active things that have been happening. So what next big thing? I think I filled my big thing quotas for this year, and the voice in my head has finally quieted down, and it was a big thanks to the Camino. It's time to just enjoy everything that I built and keep going on these adventures because things are still happening. I don't know what in my head I was thinking justifies as the next big thing. Yes, okay, people are having kids, people are getting married, all these things, but that's not the life that I want. But I guess seeing people do that stuff around me, it makes me question, okay, so what's next for me? So yeah, I'm going to let the next big thing just show up whenever and start actually giving myself credit for all the big things that I do in my life and stop making them feel so small. For a 100K walk, you need to fuel right and you need to carb up. As much as you think that you're just going for a walk, it is a workout. There's a lot of hills and you're walking for hours. You're on your feet for hours. So you want to be making sure that you are fueling right. If you decide to go and do the Camino, or you just decide to, do a 100K walk over a period of days, you want to make sure you're starting your day with simple breakfast, have your carbs and a little bit of protein, and your coffee, of course, and start your water from early on in the day. On the walk, you want to have some snacks with you, so every 45 to 60 minutes, a banana, dates, or something like that. There's plenty of cafes on the way at some parts, and then some parts with nothing, so you could stop and pick up something as well. We had gummies, no chocolates and stuff, because that stuff would melt. But yes, definitely a lot of carbs and electrolytes. We used a lot of electrolytes. That way we didn't need to drink that much water in case we needed to pee. But we still stayed hydrated. For lunch, we always stopped at a restaurant, got real food. You want to have carbs first, replenish, because we had already been walking 3 hours, replenish, and a little bit of protein. And then after we're done in the evening, that's when we focused on really refueling with the fiber, the protein, and the carbs. So our dinners were filled with protein and also more carbs to load for the next day. So it was so much fun to just be able to eat so many carbs. The goal was to have fuel, and going on a long walk like this would definitely make people lose weight, but I did not, because I made sure to fuel properly. I'd rather be full and have the energy than to do something like this to lose weight. I mean, losing weight was never the goal of this, but if you were to want to lose weight when you go on a trip like this, you definitely could, but you would also lose muscle because you would be needing to eat a lot more carbs than protein. You're not weight training, obviously, so you are going to end up losing muscle. I actually did lose a bit of muscle coming back from the Camino, and I did gain body fat a little bit. My weight did go down, which was a given. So the Camino was a beautiful experience, and I think one of the most beautiful things about it was meeting people. Meeting people of all different ages from all over the world, and one of the most special moments that I had was meeting an 81-year-old man from Japan. He was on his sixth Camino. I asked him why he keeps walking and what his secret is to his health and longevity, because at 81 to go and walk so many kilometers is amazing. He was so kind enough to allow me to interview him and ask him about his health, about why he does the Camino, and how he still is in good shape at this age and can go for a 100-kilometer walk. Instead of me giving his story, I'm going to let you listen to the story yourself.
Hiromi Taniguchi.
Nice to meet you,
Nice to meet you
Mr.
too.
Hironi.
Thank you.
So I met you on the Camino,
Yes.
and we are both doing the primitivo route.
Yeah.
And I heard you telling people that this was your sixth Camino. When was your first Camino?
10 years ago, I walked French way from San Jean Piedmont to Santiago Compostela and Finisterre.
So 10 years ago, now you are 81 years old. 10 years ago, you were 71.
Yes,
And that's when
I
you
am
started?
71 years old now.
Then.
That time.
And
Yeah.
what made you think that, okay, I'm 71, I want to go do the Camino?
In Japan, 100 famous mountains I climbed all. So next, I want to plan El Camino in Spain.
Okay.
And 3 years, I learned English.
Wow.
Nick さんは
with help of our friend living in our hometown, American friend, then he learned from him English.
Okay. So you can do the Camino.
そう。
When did you start climbing the mountains in Japan? Like, how old were you?
20 years old.
Old. Okay. So you've always been very much into fitness and your health.
そうそうそう。
What do you like about the Camino?
大自然。
Nature.
And spiritual なところ。
When you did the Camino the first time, the first one, what made you want to come back and do more? Was there something that you were inspired by?
神のとても素晴らしいところ。
Camino was the the way that was wonderful that he experienced.
And many people are very friendly. I love them. I met them in Camino.
So you made many friends through the Camino. Yeah. So you did, which Caminos have you done now so far?
First, French way from San Jean Piedmont to Santiago de Compostela to Finisterra. One. The second, Porto Santiago, and Ferrol Santiago, Finisterra Murcia Santiago. The third time I walked Camino Norte from Irún to Santiago.
Which is your favorite one?
最初の My first Camino French way
First one. Okay.
because I walked every time.
So when you decided to do Camino at 71, before that, what were you still walking in Japan from 20 till how long, or was this just something you wanted to do to prove something to yourself at this age?
I climbed the mountain. So finish my Japanese famous 100 mountain.
How old were you when you finished?
66 years old.
Yeah. So in Japan, there is a mountain, like 100 beautiful mountain, and he completed 100 the mountain in Japan.
At 66 years old.
66 years
Wow.
old, and he wanted to have next challenge and search something that he is interested in, and it's also making him big challenge. Then he found out Camino, and because of also language barrier, also walking a long distance, that's why he wanted to challenge. This is
That's
what he
amazing.
wanted to
You
explain.
are such an inspiration. Like I'm 36 and I love a challenge all the time, which is why I do different things. Like last year, I did bicycle from Barcelona to Florence. This year, Camino 100, and then again, I will bicycle from Florence to Zagreb. So I like to do these, and I wish that when I'm your age, I still can get up and do these things. Um,
そう、頑張って。
yeah. If somebody says, like, oh, I'm too old to do this, what would you say to them?
まだまだできるよ。
You can still do it.
Are you somebody who really like takes care of your food and your exercise and everything, or you just walk?
My husband, my wife.
You have
My wife is very great cook, cook, cooking
yeah.
cooker.
And so you're eating healthy all the time, and also you walking all the time, or any exercise, or just walking?
I walked near my house, Shiroyama Park, climb 2 hours, about 10,000
Steps.
steps.
So that's the secret. What would you say is the secret to actually be young, be healthy, like from the inside, and to be able to do something like this at your age? What is your secret?
達成感を求めること。
To search some challenge and to find accomplishment, that feeling to enjoy the accomplishment.
やった
Exactly, the end result. Do you feel like if you didn't continue walking and you after a certain age you just like stopped, do you feel like your health would have started to deteriorate compared to now?
I see. I
Yeah.
think so. So,
So the secret to doing it is having a challenge and walking
yeah,
10,000
so,
steps.
so.
So 10,000 steps is real.
Actually, if I can also
Of
add,
course.
yes. So my mother is good at cooking, but my father my father eats everything what she makes. Small amount, variety, not focusing on something that like bio or something. So everything she cooked, everything from the local. He is eating every day vegetable and also some like routine he has, and also working every morning 2 hours. We lived in Takayama City. Then we have close to our house there is a castle ruin park. So this is how he is making training to go up to the top of the hill 3 times every day and to make 10,000 steps. Yes.
Wow.
And 最初のカミーノでブルガルダリにあって、
Darin salad.
うん、
And another secret, every day he's eating salad. He calls Darin salad.
Okay.
It comes from the name of Bulgarian guy that my father met for the first time in Camino in France. And Darin, he cooked mixed salad
Okay.
with olive oil. And since then, he continued cooking Darin salad and eating. That is what he thought
That's the
is
secret too.
yes, friendship and also keeping healthy. And after meeting him in France, second year, third year, they met together and have a Camino walk. So that is also another story that he
Wow.
made.
You have a lot of Camino stories over the
そうで
past
すね。
year. That is amazing. You really are inspiration. Like, really are. And I hope you do more Caminos.
あ
This is not your last one.
ラストじゃなくてもっと Camino をやったらいい。
Yes?
I hope.
Yeah.
ね
You hope.
うん
And I hope so too. I hope you
Thank
continue
you.
doing this. Thank you so much for talking to
はい、
me.
どうぞ。
Arigato.
Thank you.
Listening back, what hit me really was what he said about always look for a new challenge. And I love that because that's something that I tend to do already. It's something that I find really important to keep me on track with things and always searching for that next challenge. What you can do with your body, so you keep that movement going, you keep the momentum going so that you don't end up losing your health, because that's what ends up happening, right? Like, you see so many people get to a certain age and they start to think they're too old to do certain things, and from that moment onwards they just start deteriorating. And therefore, no matter how old I am pretty sure that I'm always going to look for a way that I can push my body to make sure that I do not lose my health, I do not lose my longevity, because the work starts now, guys. We have to start now to be able to continue it later on as well. Another thing as well from this conversation, actually many conversations that we had, was the community and the simplicity of life and how you meet some amazing people from amazing places on their own journeys. It was really beautiful. You'd never meet these kind of people anywhere. You wouldn't cross paths with them. And so many people are Camino friends that we have met along the way, that have met in previous Caminos, and it was really nice, just the community side of things. And on that note, one of the other really cool things about the Camino was how much you learned from other pilgrims. We met so many people who had done this so many times in the course of their lives and for so many weeks as well. They're like people who keep coming back, or some people who've just been on the road for months. And everyone has their little hacks and tips and tricks. And if you talk to enough people, you end up collecting quite a lot of good advice that can make your journey a lot more easier. So here are some of the best tips that we picked up and tried, and a few I wish I'd known before starting. So number one, if you live in Spain, you want to make sure to look for your local Camino Association, which is Asociación de Amigos de Santiago. They usually have them in most places in Spain, and you can get your pilgrim passport ahead of time so that you don't have to be in the crowds when you actually get to your starting point. Number two, this one saved me. I did this from the beginning, and I can just say that I'm so happy that I did. I used preventative blister tape from day one, like before any blisters even came. I just know how my feet are, and when I walk a lot, where I feel like a blister could potentially occur, and I just taped up all on the sides of my feet, my toes, wherever I knew that there could be a possibility, and I didn't have any blisters. There was a few almost blisters, but nothing happened. While my friend, on the other hand, did not use the preventative tape, and she ended up getting blisters on the first day. So do it before, not when you have a problem. Number three, toe socks. We didn't try them, but this lady we met said that they are a game changer, and when she started using them, she's not turned back, because it just stopped her from getting blisters overall, because your toes are separated, right? So there's no friction happening. Number four, we were airing out our feet, and some women saw us, and I was retaping and everything, and they told us that the best trick, instead of buying all these things, is just put Vaseline between your toes and on your feet to prevent any friction, and that way you're not going to get any blisters. So did not try that, but I think I will try that for the next time. Number five, you want to pack your heavy stuff in the center of your backpack. We found this out after day one. Maybe it's logic for most people. It was not for me. My backpack was about 10 kilos, and it was very heavy, and I really struggled the first day. It was a 20K day, and the pain was just unreal. I just kept feeling like I was being pulled back. And then we met this guy who then told us, pack all your heavy stuff in the center closest to your back, and then have the backpack stuck to your back. And it makes the weight so much easier to carry. And it really worked, because by the last day, I didn't feel like it was there. And I actually even did a bit of trail running with my backpack. That really helped. Number 5, if you pre-book your accommodation and you know exactly where you're going and where you're going to stay, you can actually send your main bag forward. Every day they send bags forward to your accommodation, so with the local post, and you can just carry a day pack with water and the snacks that you need. And I really wish that we had done that. We didn't, because we didn't know about it, but that is an option. I mean, the experience was great with the bag, because I guess that's how it was done back in the day. You carry all your stuff and go. But I get why they have this service, because there was a lot of elderly people on the trip. I think I saw more elderly people than young people. So it does make sense. At least they go do their walk and they don't have to carry the load. Yeah, but we did. And then other people who kind of just walk until they get tired carry their bags as well. But yeah, there is that option if it's something you want, because if you just want to cover the KMs without actually having the load, it's fine. It's not cheating. Somebody was like, it's cheating. It's not. Then another thing that we realized after day 2 was taking breaks every 5 kilometers. And when we do that, take off your shoes, socks, and air your feet out. So every 5 km was a good idea, because we were kind of like needed to refuel, maybe have a coffee or something. And then this woman told us to air your feet out while you're doing that as well, because then it just gets rid of all the moisture, and it will make a big difference in avoiding your blisters. Number 7, most albergues and hostels have laundry and dryers, so you don't really need to pack that much, and they cost like €4 to €6 maximum. Yeah, it's pretty easy. So even if you are going to carry your bag with you, you don't need that much stuff. So you can take less underwear, less socks, because everything can get washed. The less, the better. That's what I learned. And finally, talk to people. You will hear so many stories that will definitely inspire you. Some of my favorite moments weren't just on the trail by myself. Those were great. I really enjoyed that. But I had some great conversations with other pilgrims as well. And it's cool because you meet people, you talk to them, and there's no agenda, Like, usually you meet people somewhere, you end up swapping Instagrams and all that. And there's none of that. There's no agenda. There's no nothing. You just meet, you have a conversation. Maybe you bump into each other again. Maybe you don't. You just talk and then you part ways. And I really liked that. It was different. So walks were great. The people were great. The ending. Wow. The day we came into Santiago, we saw the sign that said that we were in Santiago, but we had to get to the square. And it just felt like it was so far away, and it really wasn't. And when we made it there, it was so nice to just see hundreds of people in that square in front of the church with their backpacks, everybody just sitting down, lying down on their bags, and just like looking at this beautiful church. It was a really, really beautiful church, and just being there. And I think finishing the Camino and ending up there, you see a different kind of beauty when you look at the church, because you've just put so much work in to get to this destination. And the great part is, when you're done, you get your certificate of completion. So we chilled a little bit, took some pictures, had to get some trophies, and then we went over to the office, which is great. I would say go as soon as you come, because it's quick. They give you a number. Well, you have to do an online registration first, though, so that's super important. You have to register online, and then you get a QR code. And then you go to the office, you show them the QR code, they give you a number. You go straight in, and then they scan your QR code in there, and they check your passport, make sure that you have enough stamps to actually verify that you did the route. And then they print out your certificate, which is for free. Another thing you can also ask for is a certificate with the amount of kilometers that you've covered. That's with your normal English name, and it basically says like that I did 100 kilometers. This you have to pay though. It's €3 for it, but I wanted it. Why not? Now that I'm back home, I can say the Camino did give me what I needed. Not the magic answer. It gave me space to be present. Let the inner child out, to accept the discomfort, and of course, remembering that there is no urgency. Things really can wait. So I went looking for what's next, and I came back with, okay, what's here? What's here? I want to be in the present. Would I do this again? Yes, definitely would. I would love to do another one. I would like to do a longer one. I really like the experience, and I would like to try some other routes and see how it is. So that was my experience with the Camino. I hope that it inspired you in some way or another, and if you're planning to do a Camino, that you've got some tips and tricks up your sleeve now. And if this is just an episode you're listening to, or maybe, you feel like you are in chaos and there's constant to-do lists and so many things happening, I urge you to get out, walk, take a 30-minute walk, completely disconnected, no music, no podcast, no phone, just go out and walk and just notice the difference in how you feel. In the beginning, it's going to feel like, okay, something's missing, right? Because you don't have your phone, you're not listening to something, but pretty quickly, it's really nice. And then you can start upping that to like 90-minute walks, even if you just do it once a week. There's a big beauty in being present, and there's so much to gain in just having a bit of peace and disconnecting from things once in a while. All right, guys, I'm going to sign off. If you enjoyed this episode, please make sure to hit that subscribe, follow button, leave a comment. Have you done the Camino before? If you have, give me some tips and tricks that you used. Put them in the comments below. All right, guys, I will speak to you next time. Take care. Please be present and try to disconnect every once in a while.